We still keep the place.
I would trip. My grandmother
Well,
was
I
like
would
that.
trip
I
'cause
tripped
I'm
all the
clumsy.
time.
So what's the name of the Facebook group?
The Facebook group. Oh, this one is going to a business page,
Okay,
and I'll send out a link if you'll leave me your card.
okay,
There's a Facebook group, but it's paid for members,
okay.
where we'll put it up there. Any other questions before we get started? Last minute, okay. Oops, I'm gonna make a 6 a G. My bad. So what I have learned over the years is everyone kind of has a lot of ideas of what they need, and lots of people tell you what you need to do a business. Hi.
Oh my goodness.
I'll let you sit first.
Hello, Miss Rand.
I'll let you sit down first. Although we're building yours, so. But what I've just found is everybody wastes their money on a lot of different things that they really don't need when they start a business. Like, you literally don't need. You don't need a logo. You don't need business cards. I would argue to get started, you don't even need a website and domain name, but that's beside the point. There's just a lot of aspects that we're like, oh, we need to go to networking events, we need flyers, we need this, we need that, and you don't need really any of that. And most of the time, those, you don't even have the structure that you need behind those, so that when you do them, they don't even make a lot of sense or do anything for you. Maybe a business card, or maybe if you just need to like pass your name out, but I would argue still, they just end up in the trash can. Like literally like in a pile from a networking group, and I'm just like, I'll set them down on my desk to like mean something, like, oh, I need to call that person, like, trash can. What I have found a lot of success with is 6 individual website pages, and the Kyvio launched
Is there music playing?
classical, yes.
Oh.
It's very
okay.
peaceful.
Thank you.
As David and I discussed,
I love classic.
it's good for me to stay peaceful. These 6 pages I've literally used over and over again from client to client, and even with myself. I have a full website built for myself. I don't use it, I don't focus on it. Is there like, you know, after you have these 6 pages, should you go back and build the normal website? Maybe. Should you add a blog? Sure. There's other aspects and reasons to build, but the first 6 pages get you past the business cards, the brochures. If you go into a networking room, it means that you can actually have something you can actually do and send somebody to get them into your list, get them into your website, get them into your ecosystem. We have another internet marketer, so I know I'm going to touch on some things that he recognizes, some of the other.
So this is 6 pages to success.
6 pages to success to get started too.
Good.
So I had somebody from the Kyvio group, they're like, well, don't we need a home page with navigation and a blog and an about section and a contact us section? I'm like, no, nobody cares. In fact, what happens on a regular business page on a website? So imagine that's the whole website. You've got lots of ways to click off right here. You've got your overpriced logo right there, right? You've got some little saying here that means absolutely nothing. Down here you might talk a little bit about yourself, talk about your process a little bit, maybe you're cool and you have a little video with some more words. And I'm assuming that you don't have a lot of extra pages on your website. Maybe you've got a contact us section. Typically, none of that is following the psyche of how an actual individual person buys. You're so busy talking about yourself, like, and I know you're not narcissist, but you're like, but this is what people need to know. They need to know about me. They don't care. Like, I think the biggest thing that I was ever taught in the military, or not military, class, my first college class, I didn't want to be in that college class because it was like introduction, get to know, what do they call it? It was something stupid. I was like, I'm 21 years old. I think I can use a library. I'm actually a pretty smart guy. What's in it for me? They don't care about you. They don't care about your awards. I do agency work, and it's like there are whole agencies who get so stuck in like, oh, we won this award for the best commercial ever. Well, no, actually that was the best commercial as judged by other agency owners, not the commercial that made the most money at the lowest cost. If you spend $3 million on a commercial and you're only making $5 million, I don't necessarily, that's a questionable win. when there are guys out there spending $10,000 on a commercial and walking out with $2 million the first year. That's a nice win, right? And if you're a small business owner, you ain't got some time and space for a $3 million Super Bowl commercial anyway. That doesn't mean that works. You can have all the best, coolest, most expensive agency award-winning stuff. That doesn't mean I'm going to make you any money. That doesn't mean I can solve your problem. They don't even know if we're the right fit, right? I'm just sitting here talking about myself. They're like, well, maybe I'm not big enough. You know, maybe, no, that sounds more military. That sounds more government contractor. They can't help me. Whereas if you had written even on the base level the right kind of story, they would know about you. But how do they know that you're talking about them? There's a reason this is kind of vague on the main page, right? You want to keep your options open. You want to serve everyone. We're going to ignore that for right now. These 6 pages can be replicated, duplicated, and changed quickly, right? This is going to take at least some effort to build, right? You're going to pay someone $500 at least to build it, maybe more. I've seen 5,000 and 50,000. These are 6 pages you can build with a template, make them pretty, make them your own, and then copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste for every single product you have. And I do recommend having one of each one of these pages for every single product you sell. So if you sell, like maybe you can group maybe 3 if they are tiered and stacked. But if you are selling 1+1 travel, that page is going to be separate than the page that you have set up for employers to be offering it to their people, right? There's a consumer page and a B2B page. If you're selling something that's more secret aligned, it's not going to be the same as the hypnotist, because the people that are looking for words, it crisscrosses. It's not the same align, right? Anybody who's been in my office enough knows the first one is going to be a landing page with a free offer. This is like so easy, give me. I feel like everyone who's been on the internet or business should know it, but that's because I've been on the internet too long. This is a free offer. When you go into your networking meetings, you have a walk away. Hey, like, don't just call me if you want my business. Don't just call me like, oh, let's go make money. They don't know you. Guys, you don't walk up to a girl in the bar and say, you know, come back to my place and let's sleep together. And girls, you don't walk up to men in the bar and say, marry me. You got to let your crazy out slow, right? Baby steps. This is like buying a drink. Let me just tell you my name. Like, let me give you a chance to tell you what I'm about, right? And the second page becomes a subset page. It's a thank you page. Literally say thank you. Part of that's out of nonprofit. You have to tell somebody thank you 7 times. Might as well do it on the next page. This also becomes tracking. You can see if something's working. If 100 people hit this page and only 1 person hits this page, you have a problem. Your offer's not good enough and people don't want it. Or your page is broken. Either way, there's a problem. This right here is going to also build you a list. You have tracking, but you can also do a list. MailChimp, I think, is even paid. Once you start integrating, it's paid. ActiveCampaign does it, I think they're at $25 a month on monthly building. I don't know how much Aweber is these days. Constant Contact is overpriced to do this. But it doesn't cost that much to build a list from which to work. You can build this part right here before you build anything else and have a list to start from. Like for the people who are like trying to move out of corporate America or get started something, having a list is an easy way to do it. Like it doesn't matter whether somebody says emailer's dead, that's a lie. I still go through my email. It doesn't matter if you're doing Facebook Messenger, it doesn't matter if you're doing LinkedIn messaging. Either way, some kind of list is needed. When I send out to my audience, my email list, my Facebook Messenger list, my LinkedIn audience, the conversion rate's gonna be much higher because they already know who I am. And since I always provide value before asking for money, it's not a big ask to, hey, I have more free stuff. Would you like to come see it? Well, yes, I would. On this page right here, I'm gonna come back to that. That's gonna be duplicated once you're smart and once you like get the first pieces built. Second page is some kind of, I'm going to call it a middle ground. My terminology is entry point offer, but I realize that gets lost on a lot of people. And the same thing, from there I'm going to have a thank you page. At every point there's a tracking page. Page to get something, page to say thank you. As an agency owner, my middle ground is an appointment. I am getting them to convert in time. As an agency, I might even have a second set of these. So I'm talking about 3 sets today. As an agency owner or someone, if you're selling a higher ticket product, then you would have a second set of these. So mine right here is I have an appointment and a thank you page. I could also turn around and offer a smaller priced offer, but then to me, that negates the appointment. I'd rather get them in there, provide them value for free, and then sell them something that's multi-hundreds or $1,000 a month, right? This can be something really small. If your product is $100, this one can be $9. It needs to be something that people trip over and don't even think, and that is very specific to your market. If you are selling to corporations, most corporations, people can spend under $500, so not $500, but under $500 without going through a lot of red tape and approval process. For a person, that number is going to be a lot lower because in our mind, we're thinking it's our money we worked for, right? So it could be under 20. I like to keep it under $10 because people don't even question under $10. They literally trip right over it and they're like, oh, $10, psh, it's gone. As soon as you add the double digit, that does make it a little weirder. So some kind of smaller priced item with a thank you page. Last and foremost, your sales page. Everyone's going to know what you actually sell, right? Oh, do you do Facebook ads, or do you do Google ads, or do you do both? Your sales page should say exactly what you're doing. And I wouldn't really call it a thank you page, although you should say thank you and acknowledge the previous behavior. But I would call it an onboarding page. Again, tracking's cool, but a lot of the problems I've seen with consultants, with agency owners, with just about, especially anyone B2B, but even B2C, is people don't know how to use the product or service. They don't know what to do next. The nice thing about this is, if most of y'all heard my analogy, people are sheep. You've led them through nice and neat, and they've been really happy. And then you just leave them hanging. You haven't told them a timetable. You haven't told them what to expect or what to bring, how to put it together. That would be my Ring doorbell. I'd like to smash it with a hammer right now. You're not giving them enough information. There's one, and this is don't just think B2B. One of the B2C e-commerce sites, he deals with nothing but makeup for older women. When they hit the thank you page after making a product purchase, it has a tutorial on how to use that specific makeup. And now that he's gotten even more advanced with it, it even tells them, given their age, since they always think that's his mental barrier for his people, is they're like, oh, well, that makeup won't work for me. I'm, 67 and my skin's wrinkly, or, something like that, or my skin is dry, or something of that nature. So he's able to use the information and put quizzes in beforehand, so he knows that, and the information is tailored down to exactly their age group, their skin type, and tells them how to use it. And if somebody knows how to use their product, they're going to be happier. If there you have a service, they're not going to feel like they've been left out there hanging, right? They know exactly what to expect, right? Those are the 6 pages. If you have nothing else, get started with those. When you want to get really fancy, take this page, make sure I get this right. Take this page right here and add a thank you page element to it and make that the new thank you page. So it's the sales page. So when they hit the lead magnet, same thing here. Once you build your middle offer, make another page that's the thank you page with the middle offer. So that then becomes your new thank you page. You still need a separate offer here that is only, in my case, it's only scheduling. But if this one is thank you, hey, take the next offer. Thank you for downloading my checklist. Would you like to go through it for free with me? Schedule now. Thanks for scheduling so you know what's coming up. Now this might be the one that depends. I don't want to show my offer beforehand, but what I could take them to is through a video on the next page that kind of previews what I'm going to be going through. Like, be thoughtful. We did this with the school. Download pricing, because that's all anybody wants for daycare is to know that, are you even in my ballpark? Like, you sound expensive, you offer dance class, you have a stage, that sounds really expensive, can I afford you? Hey, just download it. You don't even have to call us. Download it. Right there, that's really great. Thanks you for downloading that. It's gonna hit your email in a few minutes. You know what, we'd like to offer you a free day at the school. Absolutely free, no obligation for your kid. Free daycare? Sure, I'd love to. Take them to a scheduling page. They schedule, hit a thank you page, and that thank you page, now again, I'm not putting a sales page because the offer is different. I want to get them in the building. But I do tell them, take them to a page on what to expect. Hey, for your day that you come in, you're going to need 2 changes of underwear just in case, whether she's going to need a sleepy mat, bring an extra, make sure they have closed-toe shoes, and all those rules that you would normally have to send a separate email for, go ahead and address them, right? You can send them a thank you page after they've done the tour. Thank you for doing the tour. Here's a link with more information with your sales page. Like, it literally applies to just about every single thing out there. How you work it is the only difference. Buy them a drink, take them out to dinner, then propose marriage or sex. Right? Baby steps, baby steps. Any questions there? Rayanne's like, no, you're building mine. Shh, got nothing.
I got it.
David, I walked you through yours. What about you over there, Scott?
No, I like it. I'm just trying to think what plugs into, what do we plug in where?
I think one of the ones that I would build for you, like first and foremost, is like your consumer one. That's going to be a lot of you just talking to people, right? Like, you're going to be showing somebody a deal. For you're trying to get employees to sign on to their, because that's a very specific crowd, and it's also a crowd you can direct completely from LinkedIn and retarget with Facebook. And that's the other nice part is, I kind of didn't mention, if you add Facebook advertising here, and everyone's like, oh, that's too complicated. All right, pay someone to put a pixel on your website. Okay, I get that, that's hard. If somebody hits here, but they don't hit here, send them an ad, a very specific Facebook ad whose only job is to get people from here to here. If they're hitting on this middle offer, assuming there's an offer here, or maybe you redirect them to the offer afterwards, they get a different other ad that sends them to this one, and only if they haven't hit that one, they will keep sending the ad to try to get them from here to here. If they've gotten this one, and if they've gotten this one, you might have several ads whose only job is to walk them through and make that sale so that they hit the onboarding page. And the Facebook ads will start like churning and knowing, hey, this person always clicks and converts. Like, what did one of my Kyvio members that we're coaching him say? That people are like addicts once they get buying. Like, when people are in buying, they're in a buying mode for some reason. And they're going to keep buying if you ask.
Gallagher does that thing about women in shopping mode.
If we're having a bad day, it's less than therapy. Mostly.
That's right.
You can start linking these with Facebook ads. If you get really complicated, you can come back and layer in Google ads. You can start, if this is performing well, you can drive Google traffic there cold, which is nice, because then that means you can scale really fast. Link it with Facebook ads, link it with emails. You can start intermingling those with Facebook Messenger, LinkedIn, if you know, and especially if you have a good CRM at the heart that's tracking the progress of everybody, then you can start adding phone calls. You can start doing a lot of different things. Any comments, questions? So much silence. But I would do that for your executives who are trying to do it for your hiring, HR, because I would build one just for HR, and I would build one just for owners, because the conversation's different. owners have a completely different objective than the hiring person. And the hiring person, you have to address that they're not the ultimate decision maker. No more questions? I know that ain't easy.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
For your tracking, are you using Google Analytics or something else?
Google Analytics works. Right now we're building them in Kyvio, and so Kyvio has additional tracking. I don't really care how you track them. I can track them with another dashboard we use called Crystal that has artificial intelligence. Facebook has a Pixel that can track as well. The method of tracking really doesn't matter, just track. So we build, these are called funnel pages, typically, like you want to go Google them. We're building these with Kyvio now. So at its simplest level, I don't even have to install Google Analytics. I don't have to install any code. I can go onto the funnel piece on each page and say, this is the landing page and here's the goal page on each one. So simple A/B. And it will tell me how many people land here, how many people landed on this page, so therefore your conversion rate is B, C, whatever. Google Analytics, you can get fancy, like you can go in there without doing anything and say 20 people hit this page, 2 people hit this page, or you can go in there and you can set up actual goals where it will track it easier. If you start doing all the tracking, especially with Google Analytics, you can come back and add UTM codes. In fact, like ActiveCampaign even does tracking. And if you add UTM codes to the back end of every link, so let's say you do a Facebook ad, you do a Google ad, you do some manual LinkedIn outreach, some group outreach in Facebook, and each one has a separate UTM code, you can start seeing which ones made the most traction. And with the right kind of software, like ActiveCampaign will track lifetime costs now. When you have that attribution level, it will start tracking, like this person over 1 year spent, I don't know, $300, this one spent $500,000, and this one spent $3,000. Here's the original way they found you. So you might have, let's say Facebook posts get the most people into your system, but the LinkedIn outreach makes the most money in your system, but it brings fewer people in. So when you have that kind of data, then you can say, yeah, the Facebook posting's cool, but let's go focus on LinkedIn because that's what actually makes me the most money. Does that make sense? And I get building the system's not the easiest thing in the world, but there are different applications that make building these 6 pages easy as pie. Like you could literally, the part of the day that will take you the longest to build these has nothing to do with the technicalities or the coding or anything, it's the content. It's going out there and writing the best bullet points that really say something and grab someone's attention. Because this page needs a killer headline that speaks specifically to someone, and that takes time to write. Figuring out what they want can take time, especially if you're not, experienced in the business. You already know what people want. I come into experienced business owners, they're like, I know what people want. They want pricing, and I don't want to give it to them until I get their phone number. Or if you get their email address, that's kind of just as good, right? Because they ain't answering the phone when you call back. Every industry wants something really, really bad. I have a broken funnel that converts killer at this level because it provides a template for building a marketing strategy. Everyone wants my marketing strategy template. Now imagine if this is converting really well. If I made this thank you page with the middle offer, they would take it. I think it just lets watch a video at this point. And then when it does take them to a scheduling page, I had somebody freak out. They were like, I wanted it to be a webinar where I could just watch. I didn't know I was going to actually have to sit and talk with you. I'm like, usually it's the other way around. People want to talk to you, not the webinar, right? Any kind of questions like on the core 6 pages? Like you can make it complicated. Any questions on the actual core pages? Because I don't care how big of a business is, most of them don't have this. Yes, Rayanne? Oh.
So when you say 6 pages, are we talking Facebook pages, web
Website,
pages?
funnel pages. So it's still website pages, but it's not built like, because I know your website, it's not built like your website.
Right.
Your website's built like this,
Correct.
with lots of navigation, and people hit here and they don't know where to go. Like, no consultant has a pricing page, because pricing is secret, right? Secret squirrel. There might be a contact page, but it's probably wrapped up where they can't even really get a hold of you. It might be a phone number because you don't want spammers. Some people are gonna have like some like, oh, join my newsletter. Nobody wants to be on your spam list. You'll have some content that's all about you. It's not about your clients, it's not about your results, it's not about who you're looking for now. This tends to be harder for people to build. It's more technically difficult, right? Even if it's built with a page builder and no coding is needed, that page builder doesn't look, it's not what you see is what you get, and if it is what you see is what you get, it's probably still very difficult, right? It runs slow. That's what happens on these pages. The easier it is for you to build, the slower it's going to run.
Well, it's WordPress.
Yeah, but once you start loading certain things onto WordPress to make it easier to build, it gets clunky. The softwares that build these pages are built to be fast. Because if this one takes too long to load, especially this one, they're hopping off. Like, and what's sad is I see marketers advertising on Facebook and I'll go click on their link to follow it, and then 3 minutes later the page doesn't load it, and I'm like, dude. Or it's not built to be that responsive. Like, old pages weren't even built to be responsive, or it's responsive poorly. So these pages are meant, they need to run fast and smooth and move people through. But the nice part is it gives you like, people all, like, I will have someone do this and not follow through. Months later come back and say, hey, I'd like to sit down with you. Now I don't have to schedule, I just send them this page. Schedule at your own convenience. I'm not gonna spend an hour of my day going back and forth with somebody who may or may not be serious. I've got better things to do with my time at this point. Hit here and go. So it also becomes like a time saver. Hey, you wanna work with me? Start here. Get this, see how you like it. You wanna schedule? Schedule here. Hey, I'm wondering what you actually do and sell. Here you go. They're literally, that is the only 3 pages people care about. They don't care about your about section. They don't want to read your story. They don't want to care about your contact section. They don't want to be spammed. Just don't care about everything. And you can come back and build this. I'm not saying never have this. I'm not saying never have a blog where you can churn out content and build SEO really easily and blah, 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 blah. But when you're getting started, or if you don't already have them, you need the basics. This also presents your sales process, so if you can actually set up, this is how we take somebody through a sales process. What do they need first? What do they need second, third, fourth? Like I said, maybe yours is 8 steps. You know, the school, like the daycare, they had more steps, but they literally had every little piece. Like, this is when we're gonna send them a book. This is when we're gonna do this. This is when we're gonna call them. This is when we're gonna send this email. They know all that, but these are the 6 core pieces. And if you're gonna build them, build backwards. You might build this one just to get started, but if you have a choice, build the sales page first, because then you can turn around and just copy paste it and add a thank you, and that becomes your thank you page here. Build this one, turn around, copy paste, it becomes your thank you page here, and then build that one, build that one. The headers and the footers look the same, the colors look the same. Once you build the big bad sales page, because that one's gonna be the longest one, the rest of them are copy paste and delete stuff. No questions from you? None whatsoever? All right, all good? Y'all are so quiet, that's like not normal.